Alright, who's coming in? Nobody. Okay. Welcome in, Hunter. Ah, yes, Quandale Dingle.
What's up, guys? Quandale Dingle here. What's up, guys? Quandale Dingle here. My grandma slipped on a banana peel and fell in her grandma's grave.
Yeah. The Mauta granddaughter, actually, it's granddaughter. Yeah, but yeah, sure, I can time it for you. I just need to, take out my custom chime silencer, which is just a bunch of weights. There would have been a cable that you'd pull down, but I guess they removed that so that they could put that weird seat board on it. But as you can see right here, that would have been where the cord wrapped around, which would have lifted the hammers back like this. Actually, I'll show you an interior shot of the granddaughter clock chiming. And of course, there's nothing. Oh, that sucks. And there you go, there's the Mauta. Hey, you got a thunderstorm happening there, that ain't good. Can I chime both celebrates on Trinity at the same time? I can try. I need to unscrew the queuing, or not the chime selector off, because the other day I unscrewed it and then I flipped it backwards so that the hammer's gonna lift up so that it can be silent, but then so that the but the springs can just wind themselves down instead of potentially gumming them up. So I'm gonna have to do that real quick, but I can do that for you. It'll take a second here because I have to take it out. I will do that. I will put my new haven away so that I can put it there. New Gavin. Put this back here. Alright, now I'll take the new cargo, not the celebrate. We gotta celebrate our different things. You know that song, I Give You Respect? You got some elite ball knowledge. Okay, so we can put this here. One celebrate down. Here, I'll show you what I did. See, this should actually be down here, but I unscrewed it so that I can have the lever upward. And I could just do this, but I have to unscrew it. I just want it to be silent, but have all springs wind down slowly. Because I don't like the cueing levers that completely stop the chimes, you know. I like to let my clocks wind down. So I have to unscrew this real quick. No, that didn't work. Where's my trusty tools? Ah, here we are. Damn, 849? That's awesome. You're almost at 900 subs there, Hunter. I'll put that back on. Okay, I got that done. All I need to do is flip this around. Let me just quickly get this one going. Alright, let's see if I can do this at the same time. Let me grab my phone here. See if I can chime both at the same time. Well, that didn't work. Well, that half worked. I chimed the bracket one and it didn't go, because I move the hands too fast. It's one of those that is sensitive to having their hands moved fast. So it didn't quite work. I have to flip it over and put that cueing lever back on. But it half worked. At least it worked to a degree. And I'm just going to put the on-off lever back to where it was. At least it worked. Somewhat. Now we go to put it back. Carefully, of course, because this is one of the most favorited in my collection. Yep, there we go. You should low-key had the hang. I almost said the company name instead of the word hang. You should totally hang the HAC wall clock next to the 2FFR. That's going to be a little bit different. Well, it technically is. Just there's a solar in the way. And plus, I liked all the decorative records I had hanging on my wall here. It'd be a little complicated because I have these bathroom tiles here. These are the original bathroom tiles to my apartment, but then we had the bathroom remodeled completely. So I saved a couple of tiles because they're they're quite sentimental. And I just thrown them around my bedroom here. So if I were to hang the HAC right next to it, it would look a little funny. Because then where am I going to put this? Yeah, it's complicated. But I do like the design of here with all the records. But who knows? Maybe in the future, you never know. Stuff does change. I will go by very fast. Currently, right now, I'm at 1,607. Less than 400 away from 2K, yeah. I'm gonna clean up my desk here while I'm streaming. When are we gonna Nintendo 64 gameplay? Whenever I can afford or have time to buy an adapter, because my television is an older one. This is from 1981. And this has on the back, it just has where is it? Oh, it's on this side. It just has the one adapter here for a VCR. So you need to get one of those transmitters that can reverse everything. because this isn't a more modern system. This is an older system. And then of course there's this cable. But yeah, this wouldn't work, unfortunately. Just by plugging it in, I need to get a adapter for it. Because the Nintendo 64 came in the mid 80s, I think. So this is before, this TV's from before the Nintendo 64 came. Or you can do what I do and put. Well, that's what I'm going to do, because I mean this television is such a kind of an icon to my bedroom. So it'd be cool to have the phone right about here, just displaying the whole TV, and it would make a kind of like a nostalgic looking. It would be pretty nostalgic. Yeah, I also caught a bad rainstorm. Actually, is it? I think it's also raining right now, if I'm correct. Never mind. But it is very cloudy outside, and it is gonna rain for sure. So we're all having kind of like a little seasonal storm. Actually, the Nintendo 64 came out in 96. Oh, way after. Wait, that's when they came out? Or do you mean 1986? Because the Nintendo 64 has been around for a really long time. Is that actually when they came out? I actually don't know. I thought it was the 80s they came out. Because the one we have is a bit of an early one. Is that actually when they came out? Was 96? I thought it was 86 or something. Because they're quite an old system. Like the cartridges, you just put them directly into the machine. That's a fairly old system there. So it would kind of make sense, I guess. Later. Okay, see you later. See ya, 07. No, let me get the ultra deep sounding 31 day going here. Battery went off. What day is it? Let's make sure that this thing is actually working here. And that's 2 p.m. Welcome in, Benny. I'll get this one going. Actually, this Jill needs a bit of winding, so let's wind it together. And hopefully it doesn't explode, you know? I need to fix that. Oh, God. I think that movement's not mounted very well. It's struggling. Good God, I forgot how much you have to wind to get these fully wound. Yeah. See how much that changed the sound. Perfect. We'll get this one going. Get this one going as well. Actually, I think this one needs winding too. Oh god. I think these springs are... Oh, never mind, it's already fully wound. I guess it's just chimes slower. I'll wind it anyway. And this one you can just do this. I got this clunker. This one's a little bit complicated. This one is a Seiko movement. Oh my god, we got one of these kids in here, Jesus Christ. I have been good. Yeah, this one doesn't like to be turned back. But we're gonna do it anyway. Oh my god, we got one of these FNAF kids in here. Actually, wait, I'm stupid. I gotta, of course, do this. There we are. Perfect. Okay. What else needs to be one? Oh, this one. Well, we've been pretty good so far with these FNAF kids, but that's of course changed in this stream. Well, soldiers, we were pretty good so. Oh, this one's already been wound. This one's actually quite good quality. This is actually good quality metal for some reason. I don't know. I'm not really friends with Felix personally, but did I take the pendulum off this one? Hold on. Let me take a peek. Nope, I did not buy this with the pendulum, so no. Oh, it is sticking. It's just very quiet. I didn't really miss much. We had one FNAF kid come in here. There. Let's see. Oh, this one's actually ticking. I didn't even realize I had this one on. No, it doesn't like being turned forward. Oh, it's gonna strike 13. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's got a weird bug with this guy. I'm gonna call it Haunted Nugget from now on. Because it doesn't really start counting properly until it hits like 3 or something like that. Then once it hits about 10, it starts counting 13. For some reason. I find it hilarious. I'm not gonna bother fix it because I find it funny. Yeah, exactly. Bro went to 13. I'm not gonna bother fixing it because, I mean, the minute arbor is a bit stiff. So I'm not gonna it's not really worth it to me to fix it. I mean, surprisingly, it has done its first 7 days without stopping. Despite the issue with it. out of 8. Hold on. I mean, that's fair because this shelf is very uneven. There we go. Now can this side turn forward? To a degree. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't like that. There we are. Well, then let me move little Nugget out of the way so that I can get to the Gilbert. Oh my gosh, this one's way behind. I've just adjusted you. Alright, let's get to the Gilbert. Actually, I use a 31-day key for this just in case. Because these click springs on these like to fail. And this one's failed me twice. Because the click spring, all it is just slipped into a notch and that can easily pop out. Which has happened numerous times with this one. Come on. There we go. Alright, see you later, Benny. And this one I have to move further ahead because its minute hand arbor isn't doing too good. Yeah, even then it's still not catching. Oh no, it caught. So I'm gonna put it 2 minutes ahead. And did that still catch? Oh, that caught. Alright, it's catching, so now it's keeping time. It's gonna be a little bit ahead. Wait, whoops. Wait, no, that's the wrong key. What am I doing? Alright, now we put Haunted Nugget back up. And these I'm hoping to get running again. I just need to find movements for it. Especially this little guy. I think if I find another movement like baguettes, that would fit perfectly in there. Or maybe one of those later Ergos UW time-only movements. That would probably fit, but I don't know if they made balance wheel versions of them. And as for this one, I can fit almost anything into it. Right on time. Nugget, you are running way too fast. Or sometimes it runs way too slow. It's a bit finicky, this one. Reluctantly, there is an adjustment to it. Right here. Oh, it's all the way at the end. Oh, well, no wonder it's running too slow. Little nugget here. That should be the proper adjustment for it. Alright. Now we can finally go back to our original spot here. Hopefully the stream doesn't bug, you know? Touch wood. Should really wind the goofa here. Good God, my desk is a mess. Reach in here, pick it up a bit. Oh, that did it. There we go. Oh wait, whoops, I moved it too far. A little awkward because the door doesn't open all the way because of its little space it's in, but it works. There. This one hasn't. Whoops. Oh yeah, right. I didn't stop later on its 7th day because I turned it off. There we are. I can, since this is a stream, I can turn these down. Oh, welcome in. Oh my gosh, welcome in. Done. Oh, right, I have the locking mechanism on. Where did it go? Which one do I have on? Oh, yes, this one. There we are. And, yes, I can do that. And just put the door back on this one. There we are. Turn on its... There we go. And there you go. I like the clock because of its chime. Yeah, it's a very nice tuning on it. I do like it a lot. Works well with the case. And I think the kitchen cabinet here needs to be wound as well because it's been a little bit. Big fat clock here. Oh yeah. How's the new Mauta, the granddaughter clock? It's doing good. It's been a little slow on getting the new chime rods for it because, you know, some of them are broken. But the guy who has all the stuff for me is a little bit far from me and I don't have a car, so it's going to take a little bit, but it's heavily on my bucket list. There we go. How's the bob on the granddaughter clock? I mean, it's not original to it. It's not a early 1920s design, which is what this clock is from, because this is an early Mauta movement, as you can see with the the chime barrel here, that is an early mounted design right there. You can easily see it because there's so much space. There's the chime sequence. Yeah, the only best shot of the chime barrel is this. This is their early design. And then there's the strike, which is also their early design because that's a 2-rod. But yeah, that pendulum isn't original to it. And I still need to get a pane of glass here because would have went around here. Can I chime the beehive on Trinity? Yes, I can do that. Here you go. Yeah, I forgot how strong that spring is. So you can get a better sound. Yes, I can do that. I'll do that right after this. Go. One for the mounted granddaughter. Just to be clear, the rods are missing. You can see. Actually, I have the rods. The ones that broke in the case. Yeah, they are. The two long ones here are the strike, and that middle one there is the one for the Westminster. This clock I got as is. The clock had a tumble in the past. Hence why it's missing its pane of glass and some chime rods. But the movement is thankfully still good. Like, still perfectly. Runs perfectly. Yeah, it's pretty much the same block. They all these earlier Mautas here, like this is early 1920s. They all pretty much had the exact same block design. And actually, it's needing its winding here. So let's give it a bit of a wind. Oh yeah. Okay. Anything else needing winding? Yeah, probably this, yeah, probably this Girod needed one. Oh, definitely. This one's a Forestville with a French Girod movement in it, or as some people call it, Guy Rod. I don't know why people call it Guy Rod. It's not. That's not the French pronunciation. Is that a kitchen clock on the wall? Yes, it is. This one actually, it's got both. You can both put it on your mantle or you can hang it on the wall. Some of these kitchen clocks had those. They're not uncommon, but they're not common either. You don't see them too often with the wall hanging mount on it. That is too small. Where's my other? Oh yes, here it is. Where is it? There it is. I think I have it. Oh. Which one? Which Mauta? I have a lot of Mautas. Including this one. No, I haven't been able to identify it. I know the company, I just can't seem to remember the name. I'm thinking it's an Urgos. I mean, the last time I saw a video of that movement was a couple years ago. But, yeah, I don't know. Also, Caden, which Mauta do you want to hear? Because I have a lot of Mautas. One's currently getting serviced right now because the bezel door fell off of it. So there's the Mauta dual chimer, there's the Mauta tambour, there's the Mauta bim bam, there's this Mauta Westminster down here, and there's this Mauta wall clock, there's this Mauta wall clock. Then of course there's the Mauta Tessiner gong, and of course the Mauta granddaughter clock. Let's do the dual chimer, right? One dual chimer. Out of the way, glass cleaner. Well, let me first move the early solar here, aka the Hermley. There we go. What do you want to hear? Do you want the how tall is? Oh, how tall is the HAC here? It's about the height is about 24, 25 inches. It's fairly large. It's actually the same as the solar right here. Alright, you want to hear it on Westminster? Yeah, sure, I can do that for you. Just need to open the back door here and flick the switch, which is where again? It's fairly Oh yeah, I'd have it off, that's right. Is that a hammer? Oh, no, that's the hammer. Where's this switch? Oh. Where is the switch for it? Oh, yes, here it is. Found it. Let's move that back. I think that's on Westminster. Yep. Okay, for some reason it chimed once, but it is over-oiled, this movement. The guy who I traded with said he serviced it, but this hand's getting in the way here, because that's why I'm trying to move it. There. The guy who I traded with said he serviced it, but not too long after I traded. A clock of mine for this one stopped working, and that is because it's been heavily over-oiled. If you had watched the video of me trying to diagnose the issue with this thing, you'll notice I did a trick, and then after doing that, oil just came squirting out of the movement like crazy. Meaning he pretty much dunked this thing into a vat of oil or something. It's been heavily over-oiled, and now everything's pretty much gummed up, including the rack, it seems. So I will flick it to Whittington here. Where is it? Oh, there's the switch. Is that? What am I doing? Do I have it? Where's the? Okay. Yeah, the time selector switch is a little buggy, so I'm gonna put it back. Because I don't want to mess with it too much, because this thing is really hard to find. Do I have the 1941 Ingram? Yeah, it's down there. It's a piece of junk. I'm at this point on the edge of just chucking it out, because they're not very well made. They're very poorly put together. They're like the lowest of low budget clocks you could have gotten, because with everything there's always a tier list. The cheapest and affordable, and the finest and the more expensive line. This would have been on the more expensive line, but most kind of in the middle, because Mauta was a company that made very, very well made movements for an affordable price. So this is the lowest. See, it ticks, as you can see, but once you throw a pendulum on it, it just doesn't do anything. So if I grabbed let me see if I have a spare pendulum in my parts drawer, which I most likely do. Here's one. This is an English one, but it should still work fine. If I hook it around here. Yeah, it just doesn't it just doesn't do anything. Sometimes putting a key as a pendulum does work, but yeah. They're very, very poorly put together. The chime side is incredibly stiff for some apparent reason. It shouldn't be, but it is. So, it's no good. I might keep the case and try to do something with it, like maybe chuck a Westminster movement in it, because it is a similar shape to this one. Same kind of wood, same kind of. It doesn't chime? No, it does not. The chime side is completely locked up, pretty much. It's, yeah. I just keep it here. That's just American clocks for your Hershey and Revere are the only exception. Well, yeah. The list I have for American companies, the two American companies that actually cared about its quality was, of course, Hershey and New Haven. New Haven clocks are actually very fine. They're actually very nicely made. Their Westminster movements, although complicated, they're very well made. They're well put together. They're not. They didn't cheapen out. These cases, very very solid. So yeah, New Haven and Hershey are probably the best American clock companies out there, and they sound really nice. These New Havens as well. Yeah, they're very nice. Can I chime the Kienzle? Yes, I can. It is running way too fast, but oh yeah, I also did actually I probably can't because I have the off lever reversed so that the hammers can actually lift up. I'll chime it later. I don't feel like moving that one because it's a huge clock. Like, it's massive. It's a huge thing. Is it on Westminster? It's a Westminster only. It's not a multi-chimer. I'd count Hamilton. No. Yeah, Hamilton I wouldn't consider to be a fine company because they imported stuff from Hermley. I mean, their movements are okay, but is that granddaughter clock missing its glass? Yeah, it is actually missing its glass because this clock I bought as is, and it took a tumble in the past, and so this glass is missing. Surprisingly, this glass here survived, but the bottom glass did not, and of course, 3 chime rods broke off here, if I can reach it. Yeah. I have them taped together, but as you can see, both strike rods, because this is an early Mauta, and one of the Westminster rods snapped off. So, yeah. The movement's still perfectly fine. Besides the suspension spring being a little bit bent, which took a little bit to straighten out, carefully of course, but after that it ticked fine. Didn't need any oiling because the movement's definitely been serviced in the past. But it runs great. Keeps really good time actually. It's one of my best time. Oh, I don't actually have it set because I chimed it earlier. It's 248. So right about there. Yeah, the very nice. Oh, I didn't read the rest of the message. Missing the glass, it still looks very nice. Actually, just got done trying to adjust the works of one grandfather clock I have because it kept getting stuck. Oh dear. Also, welcome in, Caden. You have a very nice clock collection. Hello from another clock collector. Hello there, and thank you very much. First thing I had to adjust one of my clocks to get work rate because for some reason the stopworks was stopping it. I can hear the chime even though it's missing a rod. Probably still sounds. Yep. Brenda's selling me around 50 Yoush triple chimes. 50 Yoush triple chimes? We'll keep one to sell for the rest. We'll keep one and sell the rest. I mean, hey, I'll take one of the movements. Or is it an entire clock? Or is it just movements? I mean, hey, I'll take one. I mean, I'm very picky with Youshes because most of their designs I'm not a keen of because they usually kind of over-design some of their stuff. I like more simplicity. Some of their clocks are like those Gazos, like just over the top with detail on like the dials and cases sometimes. I kind of like the earlier designs, like the ones with that are kind of like a French clock here. That's some of their early designs. I like those. And of course ones that are like your typical German box wall clock or something. Yeah, you just hit the jackpot. But now that's 50. What's the oldest clock in my collection? Ah, that's very easy. Wait, I have one of those clocks too, but I paid a lot for it. Oh my. The oldest clock in my collection is this Winterhalter and Hofmeier from the early 1860s. And this clock I got not too long ago for about I think was it $30, and it was definitely serviced as the movement is in very good condition and is very clean and is running very nicely. It's an alarm clock. Here, the alarm system in the center doesn't really work, so I just wind it up a little bit, but the spring doesn't work. There you have it. I got it for cheap because the alarm system didn't work and the bottom hinge here is snapped. But getting close to 200 years old, is impressive for one of these. And that's the original dial. I mean, it's been touched up over the years, but you can see some of the original lead paint coming off here. Of course, in the center there, but it's been touched up over the years and very nicely done. 30 for a winter halter is an absolute steal. Yeah, I didn't even know it was a winter halter. Sorry, not a winter, a winter halter. I didn't even know it was a winter halter until someone identified it. I didn't look up too much information about winter halders, so now I know more about winter halter now that I have one. It has a square face on it. Has a square face on it. I have a video on my channel of it. Recently redid the movement again. It was fully serviced and guaranteed working. I bought it from Virginia. West Virginia! No, I'm kidding. The oldest clock I have is a Waterbury mantle clock from 1887. Strikes on every 30 minutes. Yeah, that would probably be, I'm gonna guess, it's gonna be one of these. This is a Waterbury here, and that's probably gonna be one of these. I do have a Waterbury here. This one's for a very early kitchen clock, and also a very early Waterbury movement that has like the typical American design of a one. This is from 1883. Still working good. Very early example, and it's also a very early one because they're actually using screws to screw down the plates instead of pins. So that's like the beginning of the more simplified version of the movements. Same thing with my Howard Miller Jordan. I bought one and I paid a lot for it because I really love the sound of it and that it was guaranteed service and working. Okay. Most of my stuff I get is from like thrift shops or antique shops. Like this granddaughter clock was from a small thrift shop. It wasn't for sale. It wasn't even for sale. It was in the owner's possession. But I took a look around her shop and she had one clock for sale. I'm like, oh, that's a nice one. And then we got talking, and then, you know, she knew that I collected and repaired these to the best of my degree, of course. And she spent, I would say, quite a while thinking about it, but then she eventually reluctantly sold it. So, yeah. Best $165 I spent on a long case clock, and my first long case clock. Another long case clock I'm looking at, which I hope doesn't sell, is it's a Forestville with an Odo movement in it. It's a grandmother clock, but it's ironically a spring-driven one like this one, except it's not a granddaughter clock, it's a taller one, it's a grandmother. But I never knew Odo made spring-driven long case clock movement, so I'm going to try to see if I can snag that one. Although I don't think my dad would be too happy. I don't even know where I'd put it. Running out of space. Might have to move around some things. Yeah, I could probably do that. The room does need to be reorganized a little bit. So I'm gonna get my solar wag on the wall going there real quick. There. Should also get the should get Floppy Joe going here. Y'all remember this one? This one I bet you haven't seen in a while, but I still have it. This is Floppy Joe. Oh, this is another mount I have. Oh, never mind. This is a mount rope hanging clock here. It's called Floppy Joe because, well, the minute arbor is a little cracked. And it likes to flop sometimes. We called it Floppy Joe. It's been a while since this one's been running. There. Perfect. A Seth Thomas electromechanical. Uses a mechanical movement, but it runs on. Oh, it's one of those later ones. That one's gonna have a Hermley movement, battery operated Hermley movement. Yeah, that's their later movements. That was when the Seth Thomas was kind of cheapening out, and then they started importing movements from Hermley, which is what most companies did because it was just cheaper to import than make their own movements. And plus, Seth Thomas had a flood. Their whole factory flooded and got destroyed. So after that, they started importing from Hermley because it was, again, just cheaper. And same goes with Mauta. See these clocks here. This is from 1968. This is from 1969. And this has the Mauta W502 movement in it instead of the W500. The W502 is a rebranded Hermley movement. Same goes with this one. This is just a rebrand of Hermley. See, this one, this is a genuine W500, which is from Mauta. I believe the W500 movement was the last movement Mauta actually made before they imported from Hermley. I'll turn the chimes on this one. Do you like the chime on any quartz clocks? Not really. I don't really like the electronic sounds. They're not really genuine. The only battery stuff I like is those Hermley electromechanical stuff, because I find those a little fascinating. Or those Adamat quartz movements. I do want to, or like those Bulova Westminster chiming clocks where they take two batteries, one for the time side and one for the chime side. And it's just a Westminster all powered by batteries. It's actually a mechanical mechanism inside of it. Those I do want to find. Those are actually quite hard to find. I've never found one before. Just, well, yet, at least. I have seen a case that was converted to a regular quartz movement that would have housed one of those battery Adamat movements. So they basically quartzified a quartz clock. Which I find hilarious. Yeah, I do want to find stuff like that, but like regular battery stuff with like little speakers in it. No. No. I do have quartz clocks, but there's stuff I actually made out of cardboard. Like homemade clocks. That's about all I have for quartz. Let me turn the chimes. Do they go off or? Oh, right. I forgot I did that system on this one. Hold on, let me turn on the chimes on this one. Oh, they were bought out? By who? I knew they were closing, but I guess now they're back because I guess they're back because they were bought out. By who? I'm gonna guess it was by Hermley, the company, because they're still in business and still producing clocks to this day. So I'm gonna guess that they bought Howard Miller out because they were such a huge supplier and a great help to Hermley. So I'm gonna guess they bought the company so that they can produce clocks, so that they can keep producing clocks and keep the brand alive. Because Howard Miller is probably one of the most recognizable companies out there. Same goes with Hermley, of course. They're still probably the top tier of clock companies now. I'm just gonna make a joke here. They're the alpha. But if it wasn't Hermley that bought out Howard Miller, then who was it? Because now I'm curious. Who bought out Howard Miller? That's the mystery. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this little alarm clock. I'll wind that real quick. Oh, whoops, I didn't. Thing. This is a alarm clock, but instead of a bell for the alarm, it's a music box. Which it does work. Here, I'll let you guys hear it. This thing works really well. I completely forgot about it. I'll wind the music box for you. And I'll activate the music. And I will show you it in action here. Oh yeah, it only goes one direction. Oh no, it goes two directions. Usually they go one direction. The little lever is a little bit short, but should work. They were bought up by a group called, I'm not going to bother try to pronounce that name. Here's the mechanism. That is a rebranded Rouge movement, which is very high quality. Rebranded by Jalco. That's actually just a Rouge. Very nice movement inside of it. spring wound. And I'll put that where it goes. Perfect. And welcome in Adrian. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee. I'll be right back. Cannot live without coffee. Okay, I'm back. And I'm on low battery, it seems. Oh dear. I better go get my charger. Okay, I got my extension cord plugged in here. I have an old Mansell clock, but I don't know the name of the brand. Of course, I can't take the movement out, and it is in a 2.5 or 2.5 condition.
I said it appears that I've lost my charging cable.
Oh wait, no, I don't. I know it is. It is hiding from me. Alright, earlier when I was making my bed, there it is. This charger was taking a trip to the Amazon. Welcome to that clock and Lego guy. Getting a cuckoo. Yay! Hey, you're getting the HAC wall clock. So now we're both gonna have like 2 rare ones. Do I prefer the sound of a coil gong or chime rods? Me personally, chime rods. I do like gongs. Just sometimes they can get a tad boring, because, I mean, it's nothing too fancy, you know? I mean, it depends on the sound, of course. Take, for instance, this this Mauta here, right here, I'm currently working on. This one has a very nice one. Very deep, resonates very, very well. Stuff like that I really, really, really like. I like deep sounding gongs. Only Wink present, oh dear. I have a clock with the same gong. Yeah, your British Enfield one. Sorry, Smith's Enfield, I should say. Yeah, I like very deep sounding gongs. Ironically, my Korean wall clock has like the deepest gong in the world. Despite this clock not being very large. This is my hand right here. It's jiggling around because it's such a huge one. Okay, let me give you a demonstration here. Let me flip it back a bit. This has a chord of a C0, I believe, from what someone told me. Which is incredibly deep. It's actually a tad deeper than some of those early grandfather clocks with gongs on it. It's ironically a touch deeper or the same tuning as a grandfather clock gong, which is impressive. I haven't heard any Korean clock with such a deep gong like that before, and I haven't found another one. I have found a similar sounding one on YouTube, but not the tuning that mine's in. Mine's incredibly deep for a Korean gong, like unusually deep for a Korean gong wire. So it's a very impressive sound to it. It resonates very well. I mean, for being a Korean, it resonates very well. Oh, the Ergos, right. Forgot about that. Yeah, I'm gonna put this Mauta back into its original case. That Mauta with the gong wire I just showed you, I put it into the original Tessiner case, seeing what I can do, but I prefer it in its original case, which is a little tiny thing. I'm gonna put it back into that one. The screwed bezel with the funky, yes, with the funky case. Indeed. Indeed it does. So, I'm going to work on this mantle clock here while I answer questions or suggestions. Here's my pliers, so I put them in here. Screw this. Rochacho, what happened? Bezel door was being held by one bent nail and a screw. I mean, if it works, it works. But that's not good. I'd rather have a bezel missing than having a bezel hanging on by nothing. I mean, either one's not good, but I'd rather have the missing bezel. Unscrew the movement. I'm gonna put a new new suspension spring on this thing. Or luckily I can make one. see shit. Are there? Might do a very nostalgic hearing of chime rods bumper hitting against each other. Yeah, that's why I like chime rods a little more because they're more nostalgic sounding because they're such fine. I mean, depending on how they sound, I mean, they can sound really nice. Chime rods are a little bit of a hit or miss. I mean, the case to rod ratio absolutely matters. Because if it's a very well made case that resonates sound very well, the rods will sound very good in it. But if it's a very poorly made case, they're not going to sound as good because it's not resonating. The sound isn't bouncing around as it should. Basically not giving the rods their absolute full potential. And same goes. And what also matters with chime rods is the quality of the gong block. They have to be very nicely made. But mostly the rod to case ratio matters the most with chime rods. So it can be a bit of a hit or miss. I am sick of these loose nuts holding the movement together, making these brackets fall out. Or flop around, I should say. Bro, my heard my grandmother clock has a tiny little holder for the movement rods and the dial. It just rests on the case, no screws, no crap. Oh dear. Sounds like someone tried to, that doesn't sound like something Hermley would do. That just sounds like something someone did to, something kind of like jerry-rigging. Yeah, that'll definitely make it a bit quieter. When I was little, I used to move the rods just a little bit for that sound. Oh. It's a factory design in an Australian furniture company. Sounds like they were trying to cheapen out as much as they can. Come on, right there. Okay, that is one bracket lined up for the screws. There we are. Redacted, you guns. Okay. Now we're getting the silly side of Lego. That clock and Lego my ego guy. There we go. Well, that bracket needs a little more. There we are. I need a proper light for this. Like one of those mining helmets so I can see into the case. There we go. hate rhythm. Their carriage clocks only knit melody clocks. Fascinating. Not, oh. Alright, dumb screw. There we go. Now, cooperate. I'm gonna grab this screwdriver then. Ah, that's better. Never mind. Where does that bracket line up to? Ah, yes, I should have it up a little bit. No. No. Nope. A little bit more adjusting. That should be good. There we go. Bingo. Can't imagine how nice that is hearing all the ticking in person. I love it. I like it too. My dad, on the other hand, he doesn't like it too much. But I make sure to keep my door closed. I tried fixing it, still didn't work. Then I gave up after the wire for the rotating pendulum motor thing snapped. Oh my god, it's burning. Okay, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Give me this other screwdriver. Here we go. James Randall is working on a clock. Okay. Now that that's back in play, ooh, it's a little bit crooked. Oh well, I'm sure it's fine. There's a spare pendulum over here. That's fine. Okay. That doesn't really work, does it? No. I have to unscrew it again and then adjust it a little bit. I found this is a little crooked even though it's perfectly lined up. Usually again. Okay. Let's see. Let's try to unscrew it a little bit. And then we'll rotate the movement. See if that can do something. Oops. Try that. Now rotate it a little bit. No. the coil instead of pulsing the shaft to make it go back and forth. It just kept solid on attracting magnet and not pulsing. The frickin' transistor broke. Now the rotating pendulum sits unworking. Though no offense, Lego, we don't exactly know how to fix stuff. Like, I noticed with a lot of your repairs, you adjust like hammers a little too much or too fast, and then that's how you break some of your clock's hammers. So you gotta do it gently. You can't do it fast and then get frustrated and then just give up. Like it's basically the saying, a poor workman blames his tools. Saying you gotta take your time with this stuff. Like what I'm doing. Like I didn't line up the movement correctly in this clock case here that I'm working on because I'm trying to fix it and get it back up and running. So I gotta do everything slowly. That's how you build experience with repairing stuff, not, yeah. Anyway, you get the point, hopefully. I just come over to your place and hear that. I would rather not, Caden, that's a little bit of an odd question to ask, no offense. I'm a very, very young adult. I'm not a minor, but I'm a very young adult, and I'd rather not have questions like that here. Not trying to be mean or anything. I know you probably don't mean any harm with that question. But still, it's a little bit of a risky question to ask, you know? At least it looks good. Yeah. Yeah, but I tried. The pin for the shaft is actually misaligned. It popped out when I bought it. Okay. Ah, here we go. Now I'm adjusting the movements. Is this lined up here? Yeah, no. How about that? Is that good? That's better, but it's not aligned properly. Right. Move it upward. How much can I rotate this? No, that's way too much. Look at that. No. What about? Yeah, right there. Right there is the sweet spot for this movement. Okay, now we screw these screws in back into place. And then we hopefully can have a perfectly aligned movement here. No, don't do that. Okay, that works. I understand, I was just kidding. Alright, that's good, alright. Just making sure. Okay, now that that's properly aligned, put this screw in. I'm not going to fully screw all the screws in because I don't want to unscrew it all up again. Okay, let's see. Yes! There we go, now it's properly aligned. With that bracket. So it lines up, there we go. And in we go with the screw. Hopefully it works. Also, Jesse, are you still in here? Or Justin, or Hunter, or anybody? Is anybody else still in here? I know there's 2 people typing. I'm just curious who else is still in here. Alright. Now that that's back up and aligned, now we can actually put the gong in place. Ooh, this whole mount is bent. Oh dear. Let me see if I can straighten that out a little bit without breaking it, of course, because that would be the worst thing to happen. Ah! Oh yeah, hello, Funtime Freddy. I remember you. And let me see if I can gently straighten this out a little bit. It's a little bit better. That'll do. Never mind, that is pretty bent, actually. Look at this gong block here, look at that. That is pretty bent. I'm gonna try to straighten that out and hopefully not snapping it. Gotta be gentle with this. Probably this clock had a little tumble in the past as well. Oh, the stories it could tell. That is some very thick metal. That'll do. It's a little better. I want to strip don't want to strip any of this. And it's still a little bent, but it's a little straighter than it was. Yeah, now, yeah. Strip them there. Put this back. There. And do this. Now the nut. Alright. Alright. Tighten this gong block. Without doing that, of course. There. Yeah, it's a little straighter, but that's a lot better than it was. Adjust this hammer down a bit. Oh, that sounds way better. Holy shit. I'm gonna scrap this Ingram movement for its suspension spring because this clock is beyond repair at this point. With how terrible a condition it's in. This Ingram movement is pretty much a goner. So I'm going to try to take out its suspension spring. Hopefully I can take it out. Oh, I see. I won't be able to, it seems. Looks like I have to snip it. Though I don't want to do that, really. I do have a spare mount pendulum leader, I just don't have a spare mount suspension spring. That's an unfortunate circumstance to be in. Do I have any cheap clocks that have a shitty suspension spring? I could fabricate something with this clock, or at least this movement suspension spring. Maybe I can create something that'll work. Here, get this suspension spring out of here. There we are. No need to snap it. That was a silly idea. Okay, let's see. Get that out of here. There. Out comes the suspension spring. I can actually probably get this anger movement running. I just need a suspension spring to fix the German movement. Okay. Can I potentially just fit it as is? Because it's got that little screw at the top, which is really thick. No. That's okay. Trying to fabricate something with the American suspension spring because this German movement is missing its suspension spring. And I do have a spare mount pendulum leader. I just want to see if I can fabricate something with a American movement. Can I punch a pin through the suspension spring? It is fairly thin metal after. Oh, wait a minute. Can I fit this through here? Just like that. Oh, I'm onto something here. Hang on. I think, let me cook here. I think I can actually fabricate this without needing to, look at that! Will that actually fit around it? Oh my god, it will. I just fabricated something. American on German, yes. Well, I don't have all that many suspension springs, besides some American ones. So sometimes you have to work with what you have to get something going. So I actually just fabricated something that actually will work, surprisingly. Okay, so what if I just snip the pendulum leader and just keep that little bit on there? As much as I don't really want to do that, but I kind of have to. Otherwise it'll get in the way. There we go. Gently bend this off. Look at that. Yeah, that actually works quite well. Look at that. I created my own little kind of thing, which actually, it actually fits. So this is what I'm working with. Now a trick I did use, which I did with my solar wag on the wall, is I grabbed some of that paint tape and I strung it around the top to kind of friction it into place on that top piece. So that actually might work. Either that or I can just actually bend the suspension spring to the one side. but I don't want to do that. Because I'm going to keep that suspension spring intact. I love that going a lot. Of course, as I continue on into the clock collecting and repairing business, I will eventually get the proper parts needed, but as of right now, I do not. Mount stupid typos. Oh, okay. Where did I put my roll of tape? I have it somewhere. Hiding. I know I have some. Actually, I have a roll of tape somewhere. Like regular tape, but still tape. Where did it go? Oh, wait, I know where it is. I'll be right back. Well, I don't know where it went. Oh, I'm stupid. It was right in front of me the whole time. Alright, there it is. Do you have clock oil? I do have clock oil. I'm gonna pop out for a bit, alright? Alright, see you later with Lego. Thanks for joining in. And there it is. And this type of tape should work. And that little pin fell out, but that's okay. Alright, who else is still in here? Anybody else still in here? Also, if anybody wants a tip or a trick for suspension springs, if you're ever out of suspension springs and you have a clock that does not have a suspension spring, use a tape measure. Tape measures are a very thin, flexible metal, and if you cut one up and like cut it up a bit, you can have a perfect suspension spring. They mostly work better for American clocks because American clocks are a bit longer, but you can use tape measures for suspension springs. And they work really well. I don't know where my tape measure went, but you know, they work very well. There. It should be thick enough to work. I put quite a bit of tape around there just to thicken up the space here. Good to know. Yeah. Is this thick enough to squeeze through? Oh, it is. But will it hold a pendulum? Oh, yeah, it will. Yeah, that's perfect. It's just what I needed. Not too large, not too small, but just right. I should squeeze through here. Perfect. Ooh, the suspension spring tore a little bit. That should be okay. Yep. Okay, that should work. Let's see if it actually does work. Let's hook it here. Those reluctantly thick enough. Looking correct, it should just slide on through. Okay, the suspension spring might be a little too long actually. Not thread it too hard. Yeah, it might actually be a little too long actually. But it might actually be fine. No, it will not. Finky. They're a little finky, huh? It's like I have to snip in after. I really want this to work. Okay. Here's my scissors. I'll snip this roughly in half, but I do want to save some of this in case I need it. That should be good. Now I'll do this process all over again. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Do I have any Howard Miller clocks? I have one. I only have one. That's the Howard Miller Sandringham. Which I actually got for free. This is a gift from my dad. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it does. Actually, is this piece thick enough to fit through? It's perfectly. Actually, I could not have been more perfect to fit in there. I need to move this going out the way here. Okay, suspension spring is in. I hope that works. Actually, it looks like it does work. Holy shit. I'm gonna grab a pendulum, which I actually do have one lying around. That goes to this clock, actually. Ironically. Pull this apart. This is where I keep my pendulums. They're wrapped up in here so I don't lose them. I'm gonna get out of here. Get over here. There we go. Now this, unscrew this because I have two rods attached so that I again don't feel like the chime of clock or bell towers. I like both. I like both. Okay, let's see if this new suspension spring works. Fingers crossed, it does. It's holding it. Oh my god, it does. Look at this. The new fabricated suspension spring works. The clock is not very well balanced at the moment, but yeah, very, very off balance, but it is ticking. It never had a very wide pendulum sway, so it's not that surprising. Probably does need a servicing, but it does work very well. It refuses to die, even though it does need a bit of a servicing, this clock. And I did buy this for like, I don't know, $80 off of eBay. Incredible. Oh, you should see what I did with the flag on the wall here. The work I had to do to this thing, because it was missing both the suspension spring and the pendulum leader, was funny. I did a lot of homemade parts on that thing just to get it going. I took a suspension spring from a 31-day clock. I did the same tape method as I did with this clock here. And I extended the pendulum leader by cutting up a piece of coat hanger, which took quite a while to bend into shape. Stream is lagging on your end. I'm sure it's because of my wonderful Wi-Fi. I hope it's not lagging, because I'm in my bedroom and that's not the only place I've left this phone in. Yeah, that new suspension spring is working. Actually, I'm going to take down the wag on the wall just to show you what I had to do to it. I only bought it for, I think it was $10, so worth it anyway. Sure. Let me show you guys what I did with the wag on the wall here. Probably another fan favorite in my collection. There you go. As you can see, that's the top of the suspension spring from a 31-day. And that's the pendulum leader, which I bent to hell just to straighten it out because, of course, it's curved. And then there's the coat hanger, which I've soldered in place. And that elongates right there. And then I took a pendulum, which I cut up another piece of coat hanger to feed through just to extend it a bit more. And that's where I came up with this elaborate design. I mean, for only $10, I mean, I don't care. It works. And there's the front of it, of course. Now we need to put it back. There. That's in place. Put these weights on. Usually the weights are reversed. The heaviest one goes to the time side. The lightest goes on the chime side. Why they reverse it with some of these, I don't know. Never understood it. Here. Now that that's back in place, it's perfect, yes. And it's still going. Has a very shallow tick, which it always had. Despite it being a very shallow tick, it's not really needing a service, actually. Because it can actually run very offbeat if it wants to. I'm assuming that's a deadbeat escapement in there, which I do find, I guess, a bit unusual with some of these German movements, because usually they're very, very sensitive when offbeat. But this one does not care. And that new suspension spring that I fabricated is working very well. That is a gramophone needle as the pin, because I have a gramophone. And I have a lot of needles, and that's a worn out gramophone needle, which works perfectly as a pin to hold the pendulum later. Probably the most shallowest tick on a mantle clock I have. But it is working perfectly. I'm assuming that's a deadbeat escapement. I mean, given that it can run so offbeat sometimes. And there's the movement number. Nope, anyway, back to putting the phone right here. Do you have clock oil? Yes, I do. I mean, of course I do. I mean, if I work on this stuff, of course I'm going to need oil. Can't leave clocks bone dry. And let's put this dial back on, because I was working on this little guy. How much for oil? I'm not selling any. You'll have to look on eBay for that type of stuff. Some oil you can get like a little bottle for like $10. Hardly anything. Back, whoops. Where did I put those little... Oh yeah, there's a screw here. You buy how much? How much I buy for oil? I mean, it's like $10. I'm on eBay looking for clocks. Nice. I'm just trying to fix this one. I'm gonna probably restain this case because, oh my gosh, it is in rough shape.
It's in rough shape.
Yes, it is, sis.
Did you use no moisturizer?
No.
Then why is it open on the opposite side? My bad.
This is a problem. Where the heck are the screws for this? Ah, here they are. There's one. this screw go in here? Oh, ooh. That screw hole is not looking too good, it seems. What clock is that? Which one? The clock I'm working on currently, or whatever, which one, oh my gosh. This screw, I'm telling you. Work with me here. The clock that chimed before, there's a lot that have chimed before the granddaughter clock. So it's gonna be a little tricky to figure out which one. I don't know. Good to know. Oh my gosh, this screw. Oh, screwing on these dials with these tiny ass screws are such a pain. Because they're so tiny and I don't really have the proper screwdriver for it. All I'm trying to do is get this thing back going. These little screws. I don't have the right screwdriver. This thing I have is a butter knife, but that's not gonna work, obviously. That screw actually finally cooperated. And this one goes in this one. Of course, he's not going to listen. If he's stubborn. There we go. Finally. Now we're actually getting somewhere. Oh, or not, actually. Or not. Gotta go. Alright, see you later, Lego. Oh my goodness. Will you just screw into your proper spot here? Screw. You're supposed to go in here. There we go. Now it's actually working. Jesus. There we go. Finally. Is that all the screws I have for this style? I probably really need to start using other screws because the screw holes are not looking too good on this one. Actually, the two screws that I have. Do you have the time? Good question. No, I don't, you know? I don't know what time it is. I don't even know what year it is. What year is it? Oh, I know. It's October 23rd, 2077. If you know that date, then respect. (1929) 1972. Ah, yes, yes, yes. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Where are my spare tiny screws at? It's currently 1878. Oh yes. Uh-oh, where did I put the clock hands? Uh-oh. Oh, there's the hour hand, but where's the minute hand? Uh-oh. Well, that ain't good. Oh well. Hour hand here. Oh, there it is. Alright, we'll put the hands back on. Now it's back fully assembled. Okay. Well, the little guy that I was working on is now back together. I am probably definitely going to restain this case as it is not looking very good. I mean, I bought it as is, but at least it's up and running. Oops, put that. But at least it's running. Again, it hasn't ran in a while because, well, the suspension spring decided to give out. Hence why I had to fabricate my own. But it is, sounds very good. It is very nice sounding. Honestly, Mautas with gong wires seem to be a little bit uncommon. Just a little bit. They're not like rare or anything, but they're just a bit uncommon. A little bit. Could probably find one fairly somewhat easily, but this one has a very nice sounding gong. It's just a shame the whole thing is in fairly rough shape. And yes, I will chime the Howard Miller in a second here. Let's flip it back over, because I need to wind this thing. It's probably another reason why the pendulum sway is so low. Let's try on the chime side here, which is a little bit finicky. Or at least fitting the key. Uh-oh. Does the key not actually fit? Oh shit, it doesn't actually fit. Okay, that's funny. Let's grab a regular mounted key. Should work. There we are. This should get it up and running in no time. Let's flip it. Oh, I can hear the tick a lot louder. So that's probably what it needed a bit. Just a little crank. It's still a bit out of beat. This was just from picking the clock up. The actual finish is coming right off. Like, this stuff is... Look at that. That is how bad this case needs to be restained. I can literally just rub it off. I'm not even pushing hard on it, and stuff's just coming right off the case. This thing is definitely sat outside or in a damp area for sure, but it's not terribly... It doesn't have visible water damage on the case. Like, there's no discoloration of the wood or anything, so it just looks like it was in a fairly humid area for a bit. Yeah, as you can look at that finish there. I don't know if my camera will focus, which I most likely won't, but you can see just how much cracking there is on the finish here. My phone's getting fairly hot. That, yeah, especially right here, you can see where it's just chipping away. Oh, I just flicked off a piece. The front is where most of the damage actually is. Let's see. Let me flip it around one more time, then after that I will take you guys to the, take you guys to the Howard Miller as per requested. But you can see the stuff is just coming off. It is sad, but I do have a alcohol ink, which I use to restain the Hermely up there, because that clock was fairly water damaged. Alcohol ink actually makes a fairly good wood stain because it dries so quickly and it looks very nice, and it's quite cheap actually. It's not it's not like professional stuff, but it is a very good alternative. Alright, now I'll take you guys to the Howard Miller, which is the only Howard Miller I have. And of course being the Sandringham, which is a fan favorite. One of them at least in my collection. And yes, I do have a box of Raisin Bran in here. I'll let you hear it. This thing does need a bit of winding. Yeah, that needed the winding for sure. This is an early Sandringham. This is from 1994, which actually might be the year these things came out. as the model on the back is an early one. So I'll let you use the hour. This thing running? Oh yeah, it is. Let's see. Do you have the time to listen to me whine? What do you mean? Just setting the time on this thing. No. Now I can actually put my phone back. And get back to the stream. There, that's better. Actually, I could go find a paintbrush. I could actually restain this Mauta right now, since it's still daylight. Then I have to take out the the dial again, which was a pain to get back on. But you know what? Let's do it. Let's go restain this Mauta. I don't like seeing cases in rough shape. Besides, of course, this one right here, which is a bit complicated because this is an Art Deco clock, which has very nice inlay work here, and that has to be professionally taken care of. But this Mauta doesn't have that, so you can just restain it as is, since it's just one color. There's no fancy inlay or anything on it. So let's go restain it right now. Given that this clock is black, this whole thing has to be stained black, and I do have black stain, so that works perfectly. That's very convenient. this stuff doesn't will cover up all the scratches as well, because it just soaks into the wood basically. Well, not actually soaks in, but it really covers up all the scratches and damage, and this will make this clock look a lot better. See, as you can see, I took off the dial. You can see the original nice polish under here. That's what it would have looked like. It's that nice smooth polish. It's not, wouldn't have been black, but it, well, I do have brown stains, so that could actually work better. Well, I'll go find a, oh, did I just activate? What did I activate? Something said retouch on. What did I just activate? Oh, was it this? Ah! I hit a magic wand on my stream. Whoops. I need to turn on my flashlight. Alright, let me go find, no, I don't want to turn off my flashlight. I want to reset the... Ah, yeah, here. Alright, I'll go find a paintbrush. Okay, paintbrush acquired. Now let's go restain it. I didn't pay too much for this Mauto anyways. It's, even if I don't do it the greatest job, which I don't want to say, because I like doing my stuff. Jesus Christ, this pendulum attaches on there really good. Alright, there we go. Alright. Let me grab my polish here. I'll grab the black and brown. Almost tripped. Alright, let's go cook. Thankfully I live in an apartment complex, so we have a balcony. Or as my dad likes to call it, the balcone. Out we go. Okay. Let's go grab a little dish to put the stuff in. Which I think there should... Oh no, plastic. Let's see if there's something small in here that'll work. Actually, that's perfect. Yeah, perfect. Alright, here's the Mauta. Put this over here. Set you guys right here. Put a little bit of black. Not too much. And then a bit of brown. Oh, that stuff is potent. And a bit of mostly brown, which is called teak wood. There we have it. This is not paint. This is alcohol ink, which is a good alternative to use for wood staining. So this. Now, I'm just going to go over top of it. We just stain it. This is going to take a while. Actually, maybe I should have just used all black, actually. This one's called pitch black. I used too much brown. And I dropped it. That works great. Let's use more black. I'm going to set you guys down because this is going to take too long if I just held my camera about. Yeah, this is better. The cracks in the original finish will still be there, but it's going to make it look a little less worn out. And of course, once I, of course, learn better on fixing stuff, I will do a proper job one day. Actually, this almost perfectly blends in. More of this ink. Wow. It's definitely helping a lot. It's definitely adding a nice kind of shine to it. That's what alcohol ink does, is it does add a nice shine to it. This is working very well. You can still see the cracks in the original finish, of course, but at least this stuff is making it blend in a bit more. It's actually making it look quite nice. How do you get into the apartments? Hey? How do you get to the apartments? Yeah. Front. Right on the front. Is this 450? This is, yes. Yeah, okay. And it's all at the front entrance. The front entrance is at the top. Okay. Thank you. It's a confusing place. Yeah, apparently. Yep. Guy was British. That's awesome. Anybody still in here? Actually, I could put my phone down somewhere so you can see me doing this work. Into more alcohol ink. Okay, I'm actually gonna move you guys. Whoa, careful. Over here. Maybe I can move this barbecue over a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. No, I don't know about this. Put a plant on it. On this. See if that. Then put this on top. There we are. Hopefully you guys can see that well. Can you see that well? There. And the camera is refusing to focus as per usual. Not surprising whatsoever. It always focuses on the background all the time instead of actually focusing on what's in front of it. Oh, typical. This is the alcohol ink. It goes on like dark, but then it fades very quickly because this stuff actually dries. At least I'm not painting it like Adelaide clocks or something, or Loku Yinglet, or because I don't like using. I never want to use paint, so this is. Oh, it's actually focusing. Nice. Paint this down. Or not paint, I should say. I always call it painting, even though I'm not actually painting. I'm actually restaining. But I am using a paintbrush because that's the best thing I have, which gets the job done. I know you're supposed to use like the big brushes for staining, but this is so I have to work with what I have. But I'm right now doing the top of the case. I will do little touches. I'm just doing a rough layer of stain. I really hope this is turning out actually quite well, as it's blending all the damage together, making it look a little more smoother. Oops. So before long, this Mauto will look a lot nicer. And given that this case is meant to be plain, so it works in its favor. And I can of course make it look like a wood grain, but then I'd have to remove all the stain off of it. Looks a bit better. And of course that's going to dry. There's a little area that hasn't been there. And of course that one side is still drying. So, but it's still. This is what type of stain? This is alcohol ink. It's a very good alternative to use for rough staining, given that this clock is a plain case, no fancy details or anything. It actually works in its favor. And as you can see, it's covering up all the damage, making it blend in a bit more. It's looking a lot better. You can see this wood here where it was really chipping away. You can still, of course, seeing it chip away, but it looks a lot better. And this side is drying because alcohol ink dries fairly quick. So now I'm going to do the sides here, which here I'll let you look into the movement as like a type of distraction, as I cannot move my phone around very much. And I'm going to do the sides, which are actually in fairly good shape, but I'm still going to coat it regardless. And it would have been a very dark brown anyway, so it being kind of like a more blackish color. I mean, obviously stains fade and darken as it ages, so this being a kind of a dark stain works quite well. This actually looks very nice. It's a good alcohol ink makes a good alternative if you don't have any stains, like proper stains. Alcohol ink is a good alternative. So I'm just doing kind of like a rough coating, and then I'm going to finish it up a bit as I continue on. And you can easily remove it. It's well, sort of. Once it dries, it's a little trickier, but you can still remove it. I'm just using this because I don't like all the damage on it. It saddens me. I don't like seeing clocks damaged. Too. I mean, obviously, I have some that are still in rough shape, but that's needing more professional work because some of my Art Deco stuff is in rough shape, and I know I can't just, lather on this stuff on it because that's more professional wood grain and everything. This doesn't have any wood grain, so this is fine. This Mauto would have been more on the lower end of the catalogs, given how unbelievably simple it is and plain. It would have been. So for this, it works. This stuff is fine. I'm fairly good with alcohol ink. I did that one Hurley I have. I used alcohol ink to restain it because it was a very light and plain looking case, and I used the alcohol ink to give a faux wood, kind of faux wood grain to it, which actually made it look kind of Art Deco-y. So you can do a lot with this stuff. But I'm not going to stain like some of my finest stuff, obviously. This is just for little things like this that I'm okay with. And it's better than nothing. And it's actually looking very nice. Like here's the side. It adds a nice shine to it in a way. I'm going to finish off this side here eventually. It's better than just leaving it as is. Where's the damaged Enfield case? I don't think I've seen it. Oh, I have it on my floor. I'm not going to restain that one. That one's has more not cosmetic. It has more structural damage from the shipping. It's been through the veneer is quite literally splitting away off the case, and that is very bad. The case itself is in fairly good shape. It's just it has more structural damage and it has water damage to it. Fairly rough water damage to the case, especially on the back. The back is very, very water damaged. Thankfully no mold, but it's still very bad water damage. I'm not going to really bother with that case because, I mean, at this point, that Enfield I have. Oh, are you talking about the other one? The Empire? The Art Deco one with the Enfield looking movement? That one? If you're talking about that one, then yeah, I'm gonna get that one professionally fixed at some point. That one's an Art Deco clock with not very, very nice inlay wood to it. And I'd rather, with stuff like that, I'm not going to do what I'm doing here. I'm only gonna really do stuff like this if it's like a very plain case that's in rough shape. I might do it with the 1941 Ingram, but I'd rather have a fully working movement first before I do stuff like that. But yeah, with something like this Mauta here, I'm just going to do this, which is looking very nice, actually. Covering up some of the cracks and the damage to everything. Let's see. There we are. Some of the last damage to the foot here. Not really going to do the back. I might touch up the door a bit, but the back is in good shape. Yeah, that looks much nicer. Blemish here, blemish on the top here, little one here, little one here, a little bit on the top here. There we are. The Enfield with the split. Oh, that one. Yeah, that's the one with the water damage. That one's almost beyond repair. The movement is absolutely toast. Like, there's no point in getting it fixed. I mean, if I were to get it professionally fixed, it would be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Because the case needs to be fully fixed. It needs to be fully restored. The movement needs to be fully restored. I need to find a new dial, which is going to be nearly impossible because I know it is a fairly rare Enfield, but finding a replacement dial like that is going to be pretty much impossible. And I mean, had it been packaged properly, I would have gone through with getting it professionally restored, but not much care was put into packaging it. Sorry, JJ, if you're listening to this. Okay, now for the front of this clock. Ooh, that looks nice. But yeah, I'm honestly not gonna bother with that infield, unfortunately. As rare as it is, it's just, with how much damage is on it, it's just too far gone. It's one of those ones where I have to unfortunately say it's too far gone. I know it can be restored, it's just way too costly, unfortunately. I'm probably still gonna keep it, but I don't know about the movement. I'm probably better off doing a full on replacement of the movement. The case, the case is pretty bad, but it is doable. As for the movement, that movement is too far gone. When you first got the infield movement, it was still wanting to run, but now it's dead. What happened to it? Unfortunately, bushings, and it was when I got it. It was barely running. It only ran for a very short period of time before it just completely stopped working. I think the time side has locked up, as it's not loose. It's very fairly stiff. So I think due to old oil and everything, it's completely locked up the time side. Well, it's not locked up, like it refuses to turn at all. It's just very, 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 very gummed up. Everything is gummed up. The strike side is very gummed up. The bushings are worn and everything, especially on the time side. The time side bushings are especially worn. And that's getting bushings done is fairly expensive, and I don't know how to do bushings, unfortunately. I only know how to do band-aid repairs on bushings, but I only do that on low-end American clocks like Ingrams and Waterburys and such. I'll never do that to any high-end clock like Mauta or Young'uns, HAC, etc. Now for the logo, which I don't want to stain over, I'm going to do it like that. Just going to go around it. I want to keep that logo. There we go. It's one of those ones where there's no point in fixing it. It's just so far gone. Like if I had money, if I was like incredibly rich, I would maybe do it. I'm probably just better off doing a movement swap, because that's the movement that's mostly far gone. I could get the case done. It would cost a lot, but then comes like the dial, and then getting a glass cut for the bezel, which is difficult because it's a beveled, not beveled, it's curved glass. It's not like straight, and that's a little difficult to do, and it's quite expensive to get something like that done. And I'm just going to paint over or not paint over, I just keep saying that, stain over the winding things. Might as well. I still love it. It was a nice a nice clock. I still have the chime rods. They sound absolutely incredible. But then comes the question: is there a point to really fix it at this point? Given just so much needs to be done to it, you know. Like if JJ's watching this, I'm sure it's a bit heartbreaking to hear that because it is a very nice clock. But you know, when it came in the door, like when it arrived, all that was holding the movement together was literally one screw. Like just literally one screw. All the screw holes just completely, you know, yeah. But anyway, I don't want to keep yapping about it, you know. Like, one last thing I will say, I'm probably just better off finding another one. I mean, I'm sure another one will pop up with like a similar dial and everything, but you know, to fix it up, it's honestly not really worth the money to do that. I mean, at this point, it's just a large paperweight just sitting in my room, just sitting there. Okay. It has been fully restained. Looks very nice. Need to do the top a little more. Yeah, when you first got the Enfield, oh yeah. Just like the Orleans, I would rather spend the money for a dial with beveled glass and swap out the dial face and get some beveled glass made for what kind of curious expensive. At this point, I'm always yapping about my Orleans of how it never works. Yeah. Do one last coating on this side here. Just to make sure it's nice and coated. It's actually looking quite nice. I'm not a huge fan of how this side turned out, but better than nothing, of course. It's almost done here. I just need one little extra coating on this side and should be good to go. And of course we gotta let it dry. Should take no more than 10 minutes to fully dry. I'm just doing one last coating on this side. I need a little bit more. It's drying out quite good. So let me raise you guys up a little bit. Blotches. Wow, that looks a lot nicer. That's what we have. And of course, you'll see the little damages from the chipping of the original finish. But aside from that, the nice dark coating has very well made it a little more hidden. And this side's still drying a bit. This is the one side. Looks a lot nicer. From afar, I mean, of course, these little shavings here I'm not too pleased about. I don't know if I can go over that with a bit more of the ink. Don't think there's really much you can do about no, because that's actually wood underneath peeking through. It's a little, yeah, it looks a lot better. I had to, unfortunately stain over the metal rings here, so that's no big deal. Yeah, that looks. Of course, I left the logo because I didn't want to paint. Or not paint. I keep saying paint. It's not paint. I didn't want to stain over the logo. There's still some rough bits here, which I'm not too pleased about, but with how it is, I'd say that looks very nice. I might do touches on the door. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do little touches on the door here. And after that, I think we're goated. I'm just gonna use regular brown instead of brown and black mixed together. So I'm just gonna use a bit of brown just to touch up the door a bit. Just little touch-ups. Of course, will dry. I don't want to show my face on camera. I don't want to accidentally face reveal. Line here. I might as well do the whole door at this point because there's still some areas. Might as well stain the whole door. Yeah. Golly gee, this stuff really dries quick. Gee willikers. Yeah, this door is coming off really nice. I need more. Can't do little things at a time. There we go. Nice. There we are. Now getting a nice coating. Nice. Whoops. Too much there. Ah, crap. Okay, I saved it. Okay. It's a little darker than I thought, but I think that turned out a little dark. Do I just at this point paint the whole back, or do I just leave it a two-tone color? Because I don't mind the two-tone color. I didn't think the brown would be so dark. But I think I might leave it for now. I don't mind that. Is this still wet here? This looks like wet bits. No, it's not. It's dry. Alright, the top is fully dried. That was very fast. Oh my god, this whole knob is dry. Wow. Oh yeah, there's some little wet spots. That stuff dries quick. Which is why it makes such a interesting stain. Because it's nice and it dries quick. Look at that. How long does it take to dry? As I'm saying this, I accidentally stepped on a glass pile again. Oh my gosh. That depends. You have to do this stuff outside because the stuff is alcohol, which is toxic and flammable. But once it dries, it's no longer flammable anymore. So, I mean, this is now fine. Ow? What do you mean? What is ow? What do you mean ow? But the drying process for alcohol ink is, I believe, it's about a minute, 2. I usually like to leave it a bit longer. The glass? Oh, the glass, yeah. Alright, let's go, I want to go fetch the dial and the hands. And then, should be good to go. Here's the dial, there's the hands. Oops. These are the screws that are for this. Let's grab that. Oh, cannot forget about the hand screw nut. We'll go assemble it. There is no bezel door on the dial, but that's not a huge deal, as it's fairly common for the bezel doors are very poorly put on, and they're mostly found missing. Unfortunately, there's a dumbass on a biker down the street. There's a very small screw here that I do not want lost. There we are. This holds this holds the dial in place. If I lose it, oh, it's gone. Alright, let's put the bezel back on. Oh wow, that really... There's the upstairs neighbor's kids. Screaming as always. Alright guys, let's put the first screw back in. Which I'm going to start with the one that's most difficult with me. Oh, well that was easy. Oh man, that was the wrong screw hole, wasn't it? Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, so it wasn't in oh no, I put it in the wrong one. Whoops. It's meant to go in this one. There we go. That's the first one down. One more to go. And that's the really tiny one. Very careful. Very careful. Because this screw is so tiny. Baby. That is one reason why I never want to have kids. Is I do not have the patience for that. I have the patience for waiting like an absolute pro at waiting for I have a professional waiting patience, but not patience for stuff like that. Let's see, what hour are we on? Is this the hour? This is the hour. Where is it? No, that's the. I believe it's going to be 12. I did not count properly. I will have to recount. The clock just chimed. Ah, okay, 6. Indeed. Now it's all assembled. Look at that. That looks a lot nicer. I did get stain on the winding arbors, unfortunately, but that's not a huge deal. But regardless, that looks so much nicer. It is very. This stuff likes to get your fingerprints on it. Probably not fully cured, but regardless, I am very pleased with how that turned out. Whoa, look at that shine. Especially on that side there. Holy crap. That looks good. You know how much better that looks. And when you're indoors, it actually really hides the blemishes on almost everything. Just besides that spot there. Let's take a look at the back door here. See how that looks. Oh yeah, indoors the door is almost invisible. I actually kind of like the original stain of the brown on the black on the door here. And there's of course the movement. I actually really loved how that turned out. Yeah. Wow. I'm actually quite impressed on how that turned out. Alright, let's put it back in the bedroom. Yeah, of course, when it's in direct sunlight, you can see the original scuffs on it, but when it's in like a lower light, it actually hides it quite well. Look at that. Especially those sides there turned out really good. Still smells of the alcohol, but that will cure and go away as time goes by. So I'm going to open my window, of course. Actually, I might as well open the blinds. properly. Ooh. There we are. Perfect. Open the window, let the fresh air come in and cure the stain. Alright, well, I'll go grab my phone stand and we'll get back to the stream that we beginned with. Okay. We'll put the caps back on. One of them did fall on the ground here. That will go just like that. Then this one will go just like that. Perfect. And of course I will return paintbrush back to my sister.
Hi, Maya.
Here, I'm just returning the paintbrush.
Did you wash it?
No, actually. I forgot to.
I'll do that. Yes. Go. Maya! 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 But I got this photo of me. I was horrifying. Look, I was so cute. Oh gosh, I'm sorry for that. Thanks, Maya.
Okay. Still messing with that linden. It still doesn't want to keep time or run at all, but it seems to be doing 0.2% better than it was yesterday. Oh boy. There. We are back to where we first started. I will put the pendulum on the now newly stained Mauta. So I will put the pendulum back on and let it run. Run, 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 do run, run. It gets right up and running. It's a very healthy movement in this thing. It's 5:37. There, that's set to. Woof. Yeah, I can still smell that alcohol from the alcohol ink. I am tempted to use that same ink for the original Tessiner case because, as you can see, there's some very severe water damage right here around the dial. I am tempted to do that one, but I might keep it as is. Honestly, I'm probably going to. Probably best just to keep it as is. But regardless, we'll go into my case parts area. See if I can actually fit this over here. Hold on. Does this clock fit over here? I would go up this slightly lower. This works. Maybe this will work. I certainly hope this works. Will this fit here now?